A very good morning to my dear students. I hope that you are doing well and keeping safe at your home. Anyway, we are back after our monthly test. So, here I hope that you got a chance to revise all the things which we learned till now, and I also hope that you could get a nice time to come out with the best performance. So anyway, after going through your answer sheets and checking it out, I will definitely let you know where our academic brilliance lies. Okay, anyway, today we are actually planning to deal with the fourth chapter in your supplementary reader, which is entitled as Lemon, Yellow and Fig by Manohar Malgonkar. So this is actually a very interesting story. When I looked the title, it was not that much appealing even to me. But when I just started reading the story, I felt it was so interesting. But unfortunately, I'm only able to cover the first part of the story, and that was really an uninteresting thing for me also, because when we stop or when we cut the entire story into two parts, it's only for our convenience for taking the class. But when we cut it into two portions, the continuity and the charm of the story will eventually destroy. Okay, so anyway, I hope that we can complete the story in two sessions. So here we are going with the first part of the story. Anyway, look at the title, Lemon, Yellow and Fig. So this is only about colors. Don't think that there is much significance in the title as such. It is all about the color. Anyway, you will be better understood about the meaning and the significance of this title as we finish the story. Yes, okay. Now here I am going to read the preface passage. Please do listen and read along with me. Someone said, sometimes you don't know who you can and cannot trust. I still learn that over and over again. Here is a story that will make you think about trust. So in the preface passage itself, it is clearly written that the story is all about trust. Now, I have a solid question to you. Whom we can really trust and whom we can't really trust? Do you have any answer? Do you have a clear-cut answer? No. We can't give a clear-cut answer. Why? Because we don't have a clear measurement for measuring who are more honest and who are less honest. So, not having a clear measurement to measure the less honest people and the more honest people, it will be very difficult to trust somebody. Okay, so in that way we can say that the story is all about trust. So we have a clue about the theme which is going to be discussed in the preface passage itself. What is that? Yeah, in order to find it out, let me to read it first. Here I am reading the first paragraph. Please do listen and read along with me. I have lost my job. It was a good job too. All I had to do was sit in the shop throughout the day and sell saris and choli pieces. That was all we sold. They were very good saris and choli pieces, especially woven in Mr. Ratnam's little mill in Bangalore and only sold in Bombay through the shop run by me. So, the story is developing through first person narration. So, if you look at the entire paragraphs, you can find that there is the use of I. So, it simply indicates the first person narration. So, this is all about the narrator's experience, or this is all about the speaker's experience. Okay, so now let us have a detailed discussion on the meaning of the first paragraph. I know that this is a very simple paragraph, so you already got an idea about the first paragraph. Anyway, let me to discuss it for your better understanding. Okay, in the opening paragraph itself, the speaker said that he had lost his job. Maybe it was because of the question of trust, as mentioned in the preface passage, that sometimes you don't know who you can and cannot trust. He again remarked that it was a good job, in the sense that the job was light as it didn't require much efforts or much challenge. Yeah, he had to only sit in the shop and sell saris and choli pieces which were woven in Bangalore and was only sold in Bombay through his shop. Okay, so in that way, in the first paragraph clearly speaks about the simple job, the simple and comfortable job he was having while he was working as a while he had been working as a salesman in a textile shop. Okay, here we are going with the next paragraph. Please listen and read along with me. They had begun to catch on, and last week I had managed to sell over 1,000 rupees worth of them. I had little doubt that very soon the sales would go even higher. In fact, I had written to Mr. Ratnam to send me more stocks. If I could sell 5,000 rupees worth of them every month, that would have brought me a monthly income of 250 rupees. And here it is said that these saris and choli pieces were in great demand, and they started ruling over the market, and they brought profit to them. He even thought that the sales would go higher in the coming days, so he asked for more orders from Mr. Ratnam. The things were in great demand. The saris and the cholis were in great demand, as he could sell materials worthy of 5,000 rupees and he could draw a monthly salary of 250. Okay, so this was actually his calculation. Yes, it was a good job, but it didn't last long. It went just as I was beginning to be a good salesman, learning all the little tricks. he says here that even though it was a good job, he lost it as he was learning all the little tricks and growing as a pure businessman. That means when he grown as a full grown up businessman, he lost his job. Okay, now listen. I was lucky to get the job. I had no experience of this kind of work. Mr. Ratnam made no secret of the fact that he was employing me purely on a hunch. What do you mean by hunch? The meaning is given here, a thought or an idea that is based on a feeling rather than on facts or information. See, for example, if somebody is giving you a job only based on your good look, that is meant by hunch, because he thought I had an honest face. So here, what is actually the reason for him to get the job? Yeah, only his honest face. Okay, he said that he was lucky to had this job as he didn't have any previous experiences. In fact, he got selected by Mr. Ratnam on a feeling that this fellow would be apt for this job by simply looking at his honest face. So he got this job only because of the fact that he had an honest face, and Mr. Ratnam really need a man who has a honest face. Okay, so this was actually the simple reason to get a job for the speaker. Okay, now let us continue with the next part. I had answered an advertisement and was interviewed by Mr. Ratnam, who had come from Bangalore. He says that he replied in response to an advertisement, might be seen in the newspaper or somewhere else, and was interviewed, and he was applied, and later he was interviewed and selected by Mr. Ratnam. Okay, now listen, here we are going with the next part. It was Mr. Ratnam who told me I had an honest face. He said he was looking for honesty. His last salesman in Bombay had run away with some of the cash and 6 short silk saris. Okay, so this might be the reason he was always looking for a honest man, because he had so many bitter experiences from his previous employees. Okay, so now here he remembers, or he now here he says how he had been selected for the job. He said that in Mr. Ratnam's opinion, he had an honest face, and Ratnam was actually looking for honest. Ratnam was actually looking for honesty and honest people, because his last salesman had run away with some of the cash and 6 short silk saris. So right from that time onwards, he had been looking for someone with honest face, and eventually our speaker had selected. Okay, now listen. Mr. Ratnam gave me the job on the spot. All I want is honesty, he said. Honesty and a pleasant manner with customers. I will try you out for a few weeks, and if I am satisfied with your honesty and your handling of customers, you can have the job for good. Then he says that all that he wanted was honesty. So he gave him the job on spot. He only need people having honesty and a pleasant manner with his customers. Then he added that he would try him for a few weeks. That means a probationary period, and if he fulfilled or met his demands or his conditions, he could have the job for good and sure. Okay, so this was actually the condition. Now listen. Of course, I'm honest and I'm also a hard worker. In the very second week, I had made more sales than the previous salesman had made during any week. The fact that this was the week before Diwali, which, as you know, is a time when more saris are brought than at any other time, may have had something to do with it. On the other hand, it may have been due to my salesmanship. Anyway, I had good reason to be satisfied with the way things were going. Then he added that he was an honest man, well, and more than that, he was a hard worker too. And he added one more thing, that in the very second week after he had enrolled to the service, the sales went comparatively higher. And it was mainly due to Diwali, as you all know. Yeah, people would definitely buy or purchase a lot, as it is a festival. And adding to that, his salesmanship also had a significant role on that. Anyway, he had good reasons. That means he had something good to be remembered for all those pleasant things that were going then. Okay, now listen. That was how it was until this morning. It was beginning to have rosy dreams of getting married and settling down. Bombay is a good place for a refugee from the Punjab to settle down. So, in that way, things were going fine and better till then. He gratefully remembers. He had also plans of getting married and settling down because, in his opinion, Bombay is a good place for a refugee from Punjab to settle down. So, as you all know, now he used to draw comparatively a good monthly salary. So, for him, it was easy to be settled down. So, he started thinking so. Then, listen, I had barely opened the shutters of the shop this morning when the woman came in. She was pretty as a picture, and I felt happy that I should be making my first sale of the day to her. As things were going fine, better, and uneventful, he started to narrate about an incident on one pleasant day in his uneventful and peaceful life. Yeah, he started to narrate that once, as he was opening the shutter, a woman came there in his shop. She was a pretty woman, as he was so happy to have her as his first customer. See, there is a belief among us also, even in this modern era. We say in Malayalam, Kainittam. Have you heard the term, or have you heard the usage Kainittam? Yeah, we have Vishu Kainittam and all. That means if the first sale is fine and good, the whole day will be profitful and the whole day will be blissful. So, because of this conviction, he felt so happy that at least he got a pretty customer as the first one on a new or on a pleasant day. Okay, now listen. We Agarwal shopkeepers are rather superstitious. Most of us believe that the success of a day depends upon the boni, the first sale of the day. I felt sure that this customer would bring me good luck. Little did I know. Yeah, the same thing I just mentioned. It is all about a superstitious belief. That is what I already told, that in among us also we had a superstitious belief like Kainitam and all. That means if something happened good in the beginning, that will definitely affect the whole day. So that is actually, so that was actually that kind of a superstitious belief is still prevalent in our area also. So likewise, it is also spoken about the Agarwal shopkeepers' superstitious belief. Now listen. She chose a lemon colored silk saree, very plain without any gold work on it, and a choli piece to match. I felt the yellow was not her color, but of course it was not my place to tell her that. So now here comes the reference to the title. Yeah, what is actually the title? Lemon, yellow and fig. So it is actually the color of the saree she chose. Okay. Then she chose a lemon colored silk saree, very plain without any gold work on it, and a choli piece to match. After selecting the lemon colored silk saree, he also selected a choli piece which she thought was very matching to the saree she had taken. But he means the salesman, the speaker found that the yellow was not that much matching to her color. Anyway, he thought that it was not his business to tell her that. Okay. What he wanted is actually to run a business. So anything other than that is not his business. So even though he found that the color was not at all matching to her, he didn't utter a word. He kept silent. As I was wrapping up the bundle, I could smell the perfume she wore. But it was quite a strong perfume. In fact, I remember thinking that it was a little too heavy for the morning. But it was a very good perfume and seemed to fill the little shop. As he was standing close to the lady while wrapping up the bundle, he could smell her perfume as well. It was quiet and deep, means heavy for the morning, which he thought. But it was really good, and the whole shop was filled with its heavy smell. The bill was 40 rupees and she handed me a crisp new 100 rupee note. I gave her back 60 rupees. Mr. Rednam had told me that I must make it a point to start the day with 100 rupees in small notes kept in my cash box. After completing the purchase, she gave a new 100 rupee note and he gave back the balance to her. And he said that he had to start the day with 100 rupees in small notes kept in his cash box. This was actually the instruction he got from his boss. Okay, so according to what his boss had already told him, he strictly followed all those instructions given by his boss. So in that way, yeah, he kept 100 rupees in small notes in his cash box on the beginning of a day. So this is enough for today. I hope that you understood everything which we discussed. Anyway, it's the time to wind up today's session. Thank you. Have a nice